Hi everyone, Alicia here at Cosmic Gateway, just checking in with you all. We are leading up into this blue blood super eclipse moon. Here in Melbourne time, Eastern Standard Time, we're looking just after midnight. So you can research that and have a look at what time that will be impacting your part of the world. But I just wanted to make a quick video to talk a little bit about Ascension symptoms and what you can, what you may go through as part of your personal journey. You know, in the spiritual community, you know, Ascension is a very well-known term, and people reference that as what they're going through as part of their own spiritual awakening. And, you know, I just wanted to expand on that a little bit more for people who may not necessarily know what Ascension is or what Ascension symptoms are, and why this is happening. So, you know, Ascension is a process of going through a higher embodiment energetically and activating our light body as a part of that. So it's a very spiritual process. It's what a lot of the masters have gone through throughout the ages. You know, in the Tibetan term, they call it the rainbow body. And it's a path towards enlightenment, or it's co-joins in that journey. But it impacts all aspects of our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual journey. So I wanted to talk a little bit what you can go through. And obviously I have created an eight-part program which takes people through their own personal ascension journey to have a greater depth and insight into what they're going through and how they can go through that embodiment of their own self-mastery. And it really is a process of self-mastery on all levels. It's a process of self-mastery over the emotions, the mental, the body, the mind, the spirit, and bringing that all together. So, you know, why is this happening? Well, you know, it's quite exciting times that we're living in, and, you know, it's part of an evolutionary 26,000 year cycle where the earth actually goes through her ascension process. And of course, all beings who inhabit on earth are, you know, being guided to go within and go through their own personal ascension journey. And, you know, so many people are going through the wake-up experience and starting their ascension process, which initially can be really tricky, you know, especially if you don't have the framework and understanding about what you go through. And, you know, a lot of people say, you know, it's such a crazy journey, and it really, really is. It can, you know, you can have days where you think, oh my God, I'm going insane. But I can sit here and rest assured that you're not. There are hundreds, thousands upon millions of people going through these type of experiences all over the world. And it's great that we can get together, you know, as a tribe or a soul community, if you like, and share these experiences to realize and to normalize it to some extent, and know and have some sort of relief that we're not alone in this. And of course, whatever you're going through in your own individual process, wherever you're at in that journey, no doubt that you can offer assistance to others as you're going through it and as you come through different aspects of it. So let's have a quick look at what ascension symptoms can entail. They're quite vast and varied. But I just want to run through a little bit about what we can experience on a physical level, because that can be sometimes the trickiest and sometimes quite frightening for people, thinking, oh my God, is there something, you know, really wrong with me? And I can rest assured, you know, that it's probably part of this integral process. And the way I see it from my perspective is that we are embodying a higher frequency within our bodies through our light bodies. And of course, it has to impact our physical body as well. You know, our bodies are slowly and gently and at our own pace going through this embodiment of from our carbon-based structure to a more crystalline structure, and becoming much more lighter and energetic. And so, of course, there's so much that the physical body has to go through in this process. It's a massive task. And I always say to people, go easy on yourself. Go gentle on yourself. This is a massive, massive journey that you're embarking on. And I like to call it, or I like to look at it as the ultimate graduation, you know, the ultimate graduation from the 3D experience. So some of the physical symptoms that I've personally gone through over the years, and you know, a lot of people witness, let's start off with, you know, aches and pains in the body. You know, so you might go through a period of feeling achy, joints, muscles, in the legs, in the shoulders, tightness. That's part of the body recalibrating. It's part of our DNA coming online and upgrading. Quite often for me, intuitively, you know, I'll have these symptoms come up and I think, oh, okay. And I'll tune in and I'll tune into my body and I'll say, okay, so, you know, what's going on? And I'll get, you know, you're going through an upgrade and I'll get a timeline, and that timeline will say something like, you know, just write it out. 2 days, 3 days. And sure enough, every time it's spot on, you know, within 2 or 3 days that has completely passed and gone. So that's one aspect of the aches and pains that we can experience in the body. Another aspect is the headaches and the pressure around the head. So that's part of filtering new light codes into our crown chakra, or in through the higher ones that come in through the crown. Third eye pressure or headaches, that we can experience this intense pressure as things start to reconnect and rejoin. And I like to see that, you know, I see it as an aspect that, you know, the right and left hemisphere of the brain is starting to go through this molding and upgrading and remerging. So that's probably one aspect. You know, I see things very vibrant and in color, and sometimes quite psychedelic. So, you know, I enjoy this process and seeing what's going on within my body, and also when I'm working with my clients. Other symptoms are extreme fatigue, and you know, I personally know that, you know, when we're going through such big downloads or recalibrations, that sometimes our physical body has to go offline. You know, our consciousness is doing so much in so many dimensions, and our multi-dimensional self is starting to come online, so that, you know, sometimes we have to go offline for that process to fully take place. So extreme fatigue, ringing in the ears is probably a very, very common one. You know, high pitch frequency ringing in the ears that sort of comes and goes at various points. Vertigo and feeling dizzy, big one. You know, we can have these big energy waves that come in, and it can really send us off balance. And you know, I know a lot of people within my soul tribe, you know, they quite often go, whoa, the dizziness is crazy today. And, you know, I always say, you know, just take a moment, sit down, rest. You know, your body's calling just to, you know, go into that space. The dizziness is something that I see as our light body or Merkaba activating. So quite often I'll get this swirling motion that's happening, and I'll go, if I can, I'll go and sit or lie down temporarily to allow that process to fully assimilate. And that is, I've actually got to enjoy, for the most part, that aspect, because it sort of comes and goes. It doesn't last too long. So yeah, dizziness, vertigo, ringing in the ears, aches and pains in the body, pressure in the head, brain fog, confusion. You know, sometimes when things are starting to lift, the veil is lifting, or we're going through rewriting some of our programming, if you like, you know, we can have this intense confusion or fears coming up. And so that's, you know, sometimes it's a thought process that has to be reworked and worked out of the energy field. So many different aspects to this. It's such a multifaceted experience and journey. So emotions is a key one, you know, really high intense emotions and outbursts to full degrees. You know, you can feel really down in the dumps one moment, and then, you know, this wave of blissful energy comes in and you feel your heart sort of expand and activate. It's all part of it. And what I've noticed over the years, and, you know, coasting these waves of ascension, is that, you know, we will have some high frequency days, high energy days where you feel really great, you feel really inspired, you get a lot of work done. And then there's that recalibration that happens and takes place afterwards, and then there's like this low period that comes in straight after. It could be the next day or next 2 days, and that's you know, as more light comes in, stuff comes up to a release. And I guess that's where I step in and facilitate with my sessions, and what I do with my clients is I help them work through whatever's coming up to release emotionally. So it's a big journey. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I'll try and wrap it up at this point, because you know, it's so vast. I've written quite an extensive article about it, and I break it down and talk about personal ascension and how it correlates to planetary ascension, and I break it down into what we go through physically, mentally, emotionally, lifestyle changes. So I'll put that link as a comment in this video below. But wherever you are in your journey, sending you so much love, so much light and inspiration, and really connecting within. And that's where the gem is, that's where the gold is. So sending you all so much love, and I will connect with you very, very soon. Mwah!